Hey everybody, this is Harry. It's not coming from the cemetery, coming from the parking lot. Waiting on my daughter and my wife. They went into the store. And I see Jay posted a video, community chat video on influences, or well, he's titled it Siskel and Ebert. Influences and who helped influence your movie watching. Good topic. And he mentioned Siskel and Ebert back in the 80s. That's what I used to watch them too. Not much for my movie watching. I just like watching them bantering back and forth about films. Um, I tend to watch movies back in the day of actors that I liked. So if I knew Harrison Ford was in a movie, I would go see the movie with Harrison Ford in it because I know it was going to be a decent movie. Um, I used to watch a guy, and I mentioned him before. His name is Big Wilson. He was on Channel 6 down in South Florida when I was growing up. He had Night Owl Theater, and he would play a piano and introduce older movies. He was an influence on me watching older films, especially when I got older, because I would see these movies. That's how I got interested in watching older films from the 30s and 40s. They played a lot of Charlie Chan and Sherlock Holmes. Terror in Tiny Town was another one that they would play. Um, some Ronald Reagan movies, a bunch of stuff. John Wayne, a lot of detective stuff too, a lot of detective films. But I would watch him, and then when I got older, I got like 3 sets of the Charlie Chan movies, and I don't have any of the Sherlock Holmes ones except for the new ones with Robert Downey Jr. But he was an influence on me watching movies. My brother, Jay mentioned his brother, my older brother, God rest his soul. He was the one who took me to the movies when I was growing up. So when I was little, he's the one who took me to see Star Wars. Charlotte's Web was the first movie I remember seeing at Radio City Music Hall. He took me to see a triple feature. Um, Took me to see the Towering Inferno. The um, the triple feature was a karate movie that we came in on. Um, then it was a movie called Bug and Superfly. So that's what selling plasma. And then he took me to see Rocky 3 at the drive-in, and where else did he? Um, Cheech and Chong Nice Dreams, because we drove from one screen to the next and watched Nice Dreams down there at the drive-through. And then when I went on movies on my own, it was just friends and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, he was a big influence on me going to movies and films I watched. Leonard Maltin was another one. I used to get his movie guide every year, big thick one, and read movies. Read what movies he had in there, and look them up. Or if the movies were coming on TV, I would look them up and see what he rated them for me to watch them. Whether it was worth me watching them or not. So Leonard Maltin was kind of an influence back then. Trying to think who else. Those are mainly it. If you're about my age, those were the people that you watched. Um, Nowadays, I watch YouTubers. Watch their videos and reviews of films. Usually, I don't watch a review before a movie. I would watch it. I usually watch certain ones after a film I've watched. Um, Chris Stuckman comes to mind. I watch a lot of his afterwards, after the films, see what he says about it. I don't watch spoiler reviews. Um, I used to watch the Flick Pick, but I don't care for his videos too much anymore. And it's basically my little group of friends, like Jay said, grumpy old gentleman. Robert's been an influence now on me watching films because we like older films. Mike is definitely a big influence. As a matter of fact, Bob has cost me some money. I bought 2 movies because of him, and they were good. So it was good investments. Tugboat Annie was one of them, and the other one was Stella Dallas with Barbara Stanwyck. I went and bought that on DVD, and I enjoyed both of them really well. Um, Jay has influenced me in watching movies, certain movies. Kind of watched a little bit more horror type films. I'm not a horror fan, but I've watched a little bit more horror movies because of him. Ian, and DVD collector 1974 James. I've watched. Ian was the first one I came across while watching. Always liked his reviews or how he talked about films. It was always funny how he talked about it, and he's always enjoyable to watch, even though he's a gobshite. And then James, I found James through Ian, and then through Ian I found Mike. So they've all had influence on me one way or the other. Silence films. I was I watched. I've always watched silent films, but there was another guy I used to watch. He doesn't do much videos anymore. His name was Joey DeAngelis, and his was he used to, Lon Chaney. He used to a big Lon Chaney fan, senior Lon Chaney. So he had a channel with that, and he had influenced me watching some other silent movies he would review that I had not seen before. So, anyways, a quick video while they're in the store. I don't keep waiting for them to come in. If there were any peace to do these things. Anyways, I appreciate everybody watching, making comments. Continue, please. Not the best videos in the world, but anyways, those are my thoughts on things and way of watching. Hopefully tonight or maybe tomorrow I'll have the movies that I've watched this past week up. I've watched 7. So, and 2 of them were Barbara Stanwyck films. As Bob says, she's a dish. So anyways, thank you for watching. Those are my influences. I didn't want to go on too much longer. But anyways, please, anybody else wants to join in, go ahead. Thank you. Bye.